Hello, I have another update on one I did today for the Slash Control project. So, I actually worked on it a decent bit. I kind of got a little burnt out on the video editing I've been doing. Scotty.dev/hub for those sorts of updates, but I was going to try some coding. So, I've been doing coding for a couple hours, so 2 a.m., but I've been doing it for like 4 hours, 5 hours with YouTube on the side, right? So this is what I have. So we got the same sort of stuff. However, first thing that changed is I can now right click these without it going to the page. I have to explicitly left click them to get to the page. So I could just right click it and it'll stay there. Second thing is I changed the menu. It's now just an add button menu, but check this out. It added a button. It added a button where my mouse was. So if I go over here, add a button, it adds a button right where my mouse was as well. And I can add a bazillion buttons. Wow. But do you also notice how these buttons are all square, right? Well, that's the ideal situation, right? You wouldn't change your aspect ratio whatsoever and it's all fine and dandy. But what if you did change your aspect ratio, right? So, like, what if you did something like 1/2? Well, I've made the buttons so they'll resize to fit on the screen still. I have not, however, made the buttons to, like, swap its X and Y once it, like, switches between, long ways and vertical. But that's on my to-do list. But effectively, all the buttons, no matter what aspect ratio you change it to, all the buttons will still be visible in some sort of way. And they'll scale depending on it. And heck, if you even, I wonder if I could do a 1.5? No, it doesn't do that. It's like, could I do that? No. I have to do like a 2, 3 or something. 2/3, if I add a button here, boom, I have a button. And by the way, the buttons are scaled, maybe not the best sort of way. Right now I have them scaled to be default 5% of the, I think, largest length of the thing, right? So 5% of this, that looks about 5%, right? You could fit 20 of those in there. Yeah, about 5% of that. However, if I changed it back to 20/9, which was the default, this obviously you can't fit 20 here, but this way, yeah, you can fit 20. So the default size is that it'll set it to 5% of the longest direction. So if it were 1/1, you could fit 20 of these, vertically or whatever, horizontally. I was about to say this way, but actually, no, that would work too. But yeah, and that's pretty nice, right? Of course, it's going to be a lot nicer once you change the aspect ratio and once you don't have to fucking type in the aspect ratio. That's probably one of the next other things I'm going to do. I'm probably going to fix the, aspect ratio switching, so I'll swap the button positions. So, again, for example, if it were like this, then it will, in 1/2, just kind of mirror and instead have the buttons that were down on this side be down here, if it was mirrored. So there'd just be a specific button to flip it, and it'll just flip all the buttons. Everything will still be facing upward on your end. But the other thing is, of course, I want to get the select menu going for the ratios, because I hate this. Typing it in is so ass. It is not ideal. So hopefully I can get some sort of something to select. Like, I'm gonna have to have a JSON file with a bazillion phone aspect ratios, and you're gonna have to select it in a search bar or something. That's gonna be pretty difficult to make, honestly, but hopefully I can do that. And then the other thing is, once I implement that with the phones, I could also get I'd assume the data I pull from, I'll get an actual width and height in inches or something. So from there, instead of having a default percent of 5, I could default the percent to be okay, well, I want one button to be 1 inch or something. And it will make it for that size of that phone. So obviously, one 16 by 9 phone might be, smaller or bigger than the other 16 by 9 phones, right? It could have pixels packed in and everything, but if I have the real world height of it and a real world width of the screen, then I could just size the buttons depending on that. Or at least the default size of the buttons. The idea is, of course, you're going to be able to drag these. I was unable to get that working. You're going to be able to resize them. You're going to be able to do whatever the fuck you want with these things. And then, of course, these aren't just buttons. These are quote-unquote widgets as well, which maybe I should rename them to widgets. I'm not sure if they should be called buttons. I'll probably get to that when I figure out the plugin stuff, but I think it's pretty cool what I got so far. It's pretty nice, right? And then I should add a right-click context menu to the buttons, but you can see I'm right-clicking on the button, nothing's happening. But if I right-click on the mobile screen, I can add a button. By the way, they do overlap, which is actually something that I do want in the app. But I do want, again, like another setting where you could be like, oh, don't allow overlap or something. And then maybe another setting to say, make it a grid. So it'll just like snap beside each other instead of being a fucking whatever this mess is. But the point is, you get options and you could do whatever the fuck you want with it, all right? That's what I want to make with this. But anyways, I think it's pretty cool. I got some shit working. That's pretty dope. It's starting to get there. I mean, it's always starting to get there. It's been getting there. It's going to be getting there for like months. Don't worry about it. It's going to be a big project, but hopefully it pays off, all right? Anyways, Scotty.dev/hub for the Discord. Bye.